Welcome to Star Times.
Talk to me nice, YouTube. I'm J Star, and once again I'm bringing you another video on the new 2021 purple Emove Cruiser. I wanted to showcase exactly how much range you're gonna get. It's about 26 degrees out right now. It's really cold. I'm on the fastest mode, and what I plan on doing right now with this footage is I'm literally going to ride the scooter until the battery is dead. And hopefully I don't go home in a situation where I'm too far that I have to do the whole walk of shame. So right now, what's left on the meter is 2 to 3 bars. It's like going up and down. So I'm gonna just ride it in the Bronx. I'm gonna go miles here, miles there, and see how much more mileage I can get out of it. Currently, I'm at 20 miles ridden in on the scooter from the first charge of owning it. So, you know, based on watching other YouTubers that do these tests, at a guy my weight in the cold weather, the highest I've seen getting it on mode 3 has been about 37 miles. Now mind you, that was under the stipulation of there being 45-degree weather, still cold, but not as cold. So I have been riding the last few days on this scooter, and it's only been in the 20s. And like I said, based on wind chill, it feels even worse at times. And I'm riding both the morning and the night. But because I want to get this range test out of you, I'm just going to do some joy riding right now. I'm in Bronx, New York City. I'm going to do some joy riding until I either get down to the amps on the battery where I shouldn't ride the scooter no more, or until the battery dies, until it's at that blinking light and I'm kind of like limping home. So right now I'm about to pass Fordham Road. But I really want to see how much I'm at 51.9 amps on the battery. I don't know if you can see that based on the angle of the GoPro. And then, like I said, I'm going back and forth between 2 and 3 battery bars. But like I said, I think that's because of the cold. It's just so cold out here that it's going to kill the battery naturally quicker. So of course, is this a test that is going to be accurate in most conditions that you're going to ride in? No. But people like me, I ride all year round, you know, so I'm going to ride in the winter. I'm going to ride in the cold months. So therefore, I want to know that I have a reliable form of transportation. I can't ride my motorcycle to work because, you know, I have a very expensive motorcycle, and where I work in Times Square, so you can't really park anywhere over there. You know, it's just too dangerous to do so. And then you can't drive your car unless you like super rich that you can afford paying for parking, because parking is crazy expensive. So at one point I used to live in Manhattan for quite a few years, so I used to have the U-scooter, the booster. So my commute was about a total of 9 miles a day. So I used to just ride the scooter every day to work. And I did that for almost 2 years. And not only did I make my money back from the scooter, I also saved an additional, I think if I remember correctly, the math was, I think I saved like almost $1,500 extra, besides the cost, getting the cost back of the scooter. So that was a great investment. Plus, I used to get to work a fraction of the time Didn't have to deal with people or the craziness that's on the public transportation. You know, it was an overall exhilarating experience. But now I'm back in the Bronx, which is much further out than Manhattan, but still in the city. And I needed to find a scooter that I could travel with, handle my errands, do things with when I'm not in the car or when I'm not on the bike, but that could still get me around. And the previous scooters, as well as electric bikes that I've owned, there was two issues with those. One issue was they just weren't fast. They weren't fast enough, you know? And the second issue, and the more important issue, was that the range was terrible. You would get anywhere from, I would say, 10 to 15 miles of range based on my weight class. And that was nothing. I could go to one, like, my barber shop is almost 4 miles away. And that was enough for me to be on some, like, you talking about, I just went to the barber shop, that would be already 8 miles. So my scooter would get me to the barber shop, but had I had to make any other errands or go a little bit further, I would be stuck. So, you know, and same thing with, you know, so most of these electric scooters and these bikes, that's how they do. They don't get you the greatest of range. And then the ones that do actually get you really good range, you got to spend a fortune. Like the next level of scooter in comparison to the one I'm on right now that can get you the type of range that this one is projecting, you're talking about $3,500 to $7,000. That's a huge increase. Now granted, if you're the adrenaline junkie and the enthusiast and you really want to go fast and you want to get the thrill of the ride, then of course those scooters will work in your favor because they go like 40 to 50 miles an hour, in some cases even a little bit faster than that. But if you are about range and about cruising and you just want something that's strong and sturdy, that's going to get you to where you need to get to and not have to put you in a position where you have to struggle to travel, then this is the only electric scooter that I've found to be reliable enough. Now, I know that there's something called the Inmation L9, which that one is supposed to get you a decent amount of mileage too, but the speed on that is very slow, even at the top mode. And, you know, I don't, based on different reviews, some of them get some decent mileage out of it, and others didn't get as much mileage as projected. So this is the only one that I felt that had like a sturdy platform, you know, like a good build. At least that's what it appears to be so far in a little bit that I've actually ridden on this scooter. But also, you know, the mileage based on so many different tests is crazy. Now, we're going to see for myself, because if I'm in New York City and I'm riding in pretty much the cold, because I wouldn't ride anything colder than this. If I'm in a situation where it gets colder than this and the snow is sticking to the floor, then I'm just gonna, you know, at that point in time, I have no choice but to take public transportation or hop in my car if I really had serious errands to take care of. But, you know, at this level or higher in temperature, I'm gonna always ride the scooter or ride what's most convenient for me to get around and back and forth with. So, you know, this is what I'm doing. But I'm just trying to give you guys the experience so that if you are in situations like I'm in, and you are going to be riding in cold months and you're going to rely on a scooter to pretty much get you to the destinations, I want to make sure that this was not only the right pick for me, but I want to make sure that it's the right pick for you. So the first area that we're going to right now, we're riding the concourse, and we're going to head toward Yankee Stadium. I am going to give you the accurate amount of miles at the top mode, which is the fastest mode, in pretty much the coldest and the worst situation that you're gonna ride in. And then a few blocks away, we hit our first destination. And as you can see, I don't know if you can see the battery, but I'll just tell you, it's still going back and forth between 2 and 3. Can't ride in New York City without making sure I pass a train, right? Got to give you the full experience. But as you can see, we're at Yankee Stadium. Such a beautiful, beautiful stadium, I have to admit. Got to experience, I mean, I've been to many Yankee games with the old stadium, but as far as the new stadium, I didn't have my first experience with the new stadium until I think it was like 2 years ago. And it's crazy because I'm a diehard Yankee fan, but that's what happens. A lot of New Yorkers, we get so caught up with everything in New York that sometimes we don't get to do the things that most people come as tourists to do. So here you are, Yankee Stadium.
All right, guys, I'm back in the house. Unfortunately, the GoPro, cell phone died. Both died when I was out getting that last mile in. The battery was completely empty. Of course, it shows 1 bar now, but that's because I'm in the house and I guess the scooter warmed up a little bit. But I had to like call it at a point because the amps, once I was riding, you see the amp right here of the battery, it was as low as 41.3. And naturally, it should cut off at around 43. But I didn't want to take a chance of damaging the battery. Plus, I knew that the charge was done because it was to the point where I was only averaging about 8 miles an hour. So I was on limp mode. There was no battery at all, so there wasn't even 1 bar. I was on limp mode for the last couple of blocks to make it back home. I chose wisely. The end result was 35.4 miles on 1 charge, and fastest mode, which is in mode 3. Well, that's the information. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.